welcome to It's Settled with Stefanie L's podcast. My name is Stefanie L's, and I'm here today with one of my longtime friends, Jim. And hey, Jim, you want to say hi and kind of
How you doing?
Introduce yourself?
Thanks for letting me be here. I appreciate it. I think this is going to be awesome for you. Always excited to get in to see what y'all do. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So I think I met you when you were coming back from Japan.
Yes.
So you were in the Air Force with my husband, Blake.
Yep.
And he was like, hey, this guy's moving here and he needs a loan. And then the next time I actually met you in person, you'd gotten your real estate license and you were working at Edge with JC.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this guy's way taller than I pictured in my head.
Yeah, a little bit different. It's definitely been a different, weird. I would have never seen myself. If I look back at myself probably about 10, 15 years ago, I would have never seen myself here doing this, where I'm at. Mm-hmm. It's like the total opposite plan for what I had with my life.
Yeah, I mean, I really relate to that too, because I'm not doing anything that was part of my plan as a young person, but that's not a bad thing. And I think like sometimes like my kids' generation, they think that, you know, everything's got to be in a certain direction, and they're not seeing where the problem solving skills are coming into play there.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, we'll kind of figure out what you're good at in life first and then just take it from there.
100%. Like, I mean, to go kind of like you said, the background of it, I mean, I went to a technical high school, you know, my junior and senior year of high school for criminal justice. I got out. I went and did some couple odds and jobs right out of high school. I went and worked for an HVAC company for like the summer, and I was like, this is not it. This ain't for me. I worked at a distribution center loading trucks for like a year. I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't for me. And then that's when I got hired on with the Maryland Division of Corrections as a correctional officer for state prison. Had a lot of family that did it. My dad retired from it. I got an uncle that's still got 30-some years in.
So you were basically a prison guard?
Yep. That's it. Did that for 3.5 years.
In Baltimore?
Outside, about an hour outside Baltimore. So we had a complex of 3 state prisons in one complex. So we housed about like 7,500 inmates between 3 prisons.
So I'm pretty sure I've seen that prison on some of those shows, like Locked Up, or the ones where they have the prison lockdown. I've seen a couple episodes where they had. It's a pretty rough system, you know.
It takes a mindset for sure to do it, and then I got to the point where I was either going to make rank there or I needed to go.
Yeah.
And I talked to my uncle. My uncle was in the military. He was a crew chief on KC-135s. I was like, man, talk to me about the Air Force. Because I was going to go in the military out of high school, but my grandfather was sick with cancer, and I was like, I can't leave him. Wow. And luckily enough, my distribution job, I only worked 3 days a week. They were 3/12s. I got paid for 40 hours because of shift differential. So I spent my other 4 days with him. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of crazy, like you look back on things, it's like, dang, everything was for a plan.
Exactly.
It's just weird how you got here.
Right.
But to go from that to leaving for the military, spent, 10.5 years between active duty and the Guard, and then now JC pulling me into real estate was like the weirdest left turn I've ever seen in my life. But here we are, 7 years later in real estate. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And I think that it's part of, like, I look back and some of the things that I was like, man, that sucked so bad and that was a fail. It's not really a fail in the grand scheme of things, because that's usually like a really good tool that you've put in your toolbox.
Oh, 100%.
After you've had a massive failure or really screwed something up, I mean, the biggest thing is, you know, don't ever do that again. Yeah,
the main thing I say to people is, like, don't be afraid to, like, if you set a plan, but if that plan doesn't seem to be the plan that you, after you're in it, like, hey, this ain't for me, don't be afraid to change. Like, change is a good thing. Like, change is not a terrible bad thing. Like, I went from law enforcement, military to real estate. There's no way that's even relatedly close, you know, right. And I mean, so far so good, you know, I can't complain. Yeah. I like this job. I like the freedoms of it. It allowed me to be home with my kids more. You know, you set that up. So But yeah, I would have never thought of being real estate.
But wouldn't you think that like the really hard stuff that you've had to do in life, like working in a prison or working in a warehouse, getting hot, you know, having to sweat and be tired and punch a time clock, don't you think that all of those things gave you the best skill set for working in an environment like you are now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because this, if we're complaining about real estate to where that is, I'm sorry. I'm in an air conditioning office.
Seriously.
I mean, I come and go as I please. I don't have a time card. If I need to go do something, I don't have an appointment. I'm gone. I can take my kids to the doctors if I want to schedule a vacation. I mean, I can go.
Exactly.
So yeah, on that aspect, it's yeah.
I mean, you know, I worked in restaurants for a long time, just odd jobs while I was a kid and in school, and bussing tables, washing dishes, working in any kind of food service is the hardest job. Everybody should be required to work like 1 year in food service.
Oh yeah.
And then enter the workforce. Because if you can handle the stress and, you know, like 9 million things going on at a time, and really, I mean, the lack of pay, especially if you're doing something like washing dishes or bussing tables. Because you're not even getting tips at that point. You're just having to clean up everybody else's dirty stuff. So I think I was like 14 years old, bussing tables at, you know, a little cafe. And I would think of all the ways, all of the jobs that I was not going to do in my life. I'd be scraping those dishes and I'd be like, well, not being a dishwasher. And so, you know, every time I would think things are really, really hard in life, you know, further down the road, she's like, yeah, but I'm not bussing tables.
Yeah. It's crazy you bring that up. My first job ever, other than, you know, my dad had a lawn mowing business growing up that I spent my summers. Hey, he'd get off at 8 o'clock in the morning for the prison, wake me up, say, all right, boys, time to go mow. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this is great. We used to joke, we laugh about it now. Like, the truck we had no air conditioning in it. It was like an old, like, farm truck that just pulled the trailer for our mowing equipment. And we used to always say 255 air conditioning, which was 2 windows open at 55 mile an hour. So, but my first real job, I worked at a minor league ballpark back home. And literally it was kind of like that. I did concession. I did pretty much everything down there. I mean, I'd be the vendor one game, or the bat boy wouldn't show up. They'd make me be the bat boy one game. Like, so I did that for a couple years, which was pretty cool, but I was like, this ain't it. For $5.15 an hour, I was like, this ain't it.
For real.
Yeah, but at 15, 16 years old, you're like, that's gas money. I like to go do something. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from there, but it's kind of a different experience.
Yeah, it is. And I really kind of struggle with that big time because, like, I see the life that my kids lead. They can text anybody for anything at any time. They have a map of the entire world in the palm of their hand, telling them how to get from A to Z. We had to use like maps on paper. Yeah. So you had to know if you and your friends are going to go on a road trip.
Yep.
You got to know what direction north is, like without using a tool to tell you such.
It's funny, and she'll kill me if I tell you this on here, but I got to. My wife is the absolute worst with directions.
Well, then do not send her anywhere with Blake Lyles, because they will be lost forever.
I'm telling you, I'm like, she'll pull GPS out for everything. I was like, you've lived here your entire life. Why do you need GPS? And then, like, geography, like knowing where everything is. I'm like, it's something I take for granted. Remember back in the day when MapQuest finally came out, and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Print off the directions.
You print off the sheet. You're like, oh, we got on this road. Oh, we're good for 70 miles, so we don't have to look at this for a little bit. But it was like the greatest thing ever.
It was.
But now everything's so easy.
Jim, I know. So Blake, my husband, I mean, he's the same way. And literally, I think it's a thing that some people are just not born with a sense of direction. They can kill it in other areas of life, but like, so last summer we went to Gulf Shores. Blake's the same way. He wants to use GPS even in his own home county. But we stayed down there for like 5 days. Then the morning we were going to drive home, we get in the car, stop at a gas station, get gas in the car, and I say, okay, you got your directions, you good to go? Yes. So I took a nap, and then in 2 hours later, I woke up and we're driving freaking north. And I was like, you do realize we're supposed to be going west. I don't know what happened, but it took us like 3 additional hours to get home.
I'd have killed him.
Yes. So, like on Dumb and Dumber, when he's like, you drove 500 miles across the country in the wrong direction. It was that kind of moment.
Ooh.
You're just ready to get home. And then in Blake's defense, Google Maps, I guess, did send him the wrong prompt or something. But I was like, how did you not know that you were driving to Tennessee instead of Arkansas?
And you're in a vehicle that tells you what direction you're going.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about it, because Blake, avid hunter,
so
wilderness,
mechanical.
Out in the wilderness,
Exactly.
he goes hunting. Like,
yes.
When you're out in the woods, you got to know direction, you would think. I mean, I don't hunt, so I couldn't really tell either way, but
yeah.
It's funny.
I mean, and I've had talks with him. I'm like, look, you are not someone that can solo hunt. Please. Like, that would stress me out so bad. Because, people do get lost. You get out in the middle of a forest, all the trees look the same.
I pass.
Yeah.
I'm good. They've been trying to get me to go duck hunting for years. Him, Matt, like JC before he passed, and I'm like, no.
Jim, you would love it.
I'm not doing it. They're like, oh man, just the bonding. I said, I can bond with you in the warmth, and I don't have to get up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's true.
I was like,
have you ever deer hunted?
Nope.
Okay, so I don't like deer hunting because you've got to be like still. You can't make a sound, and that does not work out for my lifestyle. But duck hunting, you can kind of move around. You can talk, you're in a blind, and then it's only like showtime when the birds come. And then everybody's kind of shooting at the same time, so they don't know if you missed.
See, everybody, this misconception of me. I have like a southern accent now just from living down here, but I am a city boy at heart. I grew up by 2 big cities. My cousins would go hunting. Yes. My dad never hunt. My dad never fished. We're doing sports or other stuff like that growing up, to where that was never a thing. And then now I'm just like,
Yeah. I think, though, even though you're like from outside of Baltimore, and this is one of the things that I've discovered after like 23 years of just talking to people. There are small town people from even the biggest metropolises. So you don't have to have any skill in hunting.
Oh.
It's like an experience. You could be from, New York City, and if you've got like the curiosity and you want to learn about nature.
I could go camping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like hunting, I'm like, nah.
I know.
I don't know what it is. It's never, and they've tried. JC even pulled his humor sometimes. I just want to kick him in the shin because he's so dang tall. The one time he said, you got to go duck hunting now. I was like, why? He goes, because I got cancer and you can't tell me no. I'm like, dude, shut up, dude. I was like, you can't guilt trip me like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
but that is 100% something JC would
that was
say
him.
And be giggling, yeah.
And just laugh his little self off. Like,
yes.
It's just like, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. So, talking about, your time working as a warden or a prison sitter, what was your actual title?
So, just correctional officer.
Correctional, yeah, that sounds very scary. So, I was going to have you talk about, I know also you do like some contract security work.
I have, I do, it's actually with the guys that I used to work with, and my uncle and my dad, they all still do it, my cousin. I think I may still keep doing it, but I kind of told my wife I'm going to stop doing it because she's tired of being away, because it's a couple weeks out of time.
That is very demanding. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we go do those, and it's literally, we're just security for an antique company that does like high-end jewelry and antique. They put on these shows in different cities, and
so you're like guarding from jewel thieves.
Kinda, yeah, pretty much. But we also do the setup. We also do the tear down. We do the security for move in and move out. I mean, it all depends on the show. Like the one in Baltimore, we used to build the entire show, to where now we built it a little bit the last time I did it, but not as much. Florida, we don't build it all. Like they bring work crews in, they build it. We just watch them, make sure they build it right.
You show up and you're like, I'm above this. For this gig, I only have to like have muscle. You do the setup.
The crazy part is them workers down there, they looked at you like, oh yeah, it must be easy. You're just looking at the plans and we're over here sweating the build. I said, brother, I promise you I know exactly how you feel, because I built the one in Baltimore, and the one in Baltimore was like 3 times the size. But
so have you ever had anybody that you actually had to go into security mode, like at these antiques shows? Have you ever had anybody actually try to come in and case the place, or take some stuff?
Yep, it's happened.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I would never. There are some places you're like, this is going to be super secure. Obviously, they got security guards everywhere, and it blows my mind that people would still try to rob them.
Because, I mean, you got to think about it. Some of these guys are really good. I hate to give them credit, because
it's like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I mean, we even have, for like us, like we don't even carry weapons down there, because we always have, whatever city we're working in, we have police officers that are working overtime. So for them, we just literally just stop the situation, mitigate it, and we just have the cop come over and handle the rest. We help the cop if he needs help, but I mean, most time, I mean, there's more than one there. So, but yeah, I mean, we've had. I mean, thefts are not uncommon, unfortunately, but... I
mean, that's, talking about mitigation, I think that's one thing that you're great at, because I've closed several deals with you, real estate transactions, through the years, and you're pretty good at, like, setting boundaries with people and letting them know, like, this is cool and this is not, and this is where we're going to draw the line, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot better. I'm more calm now than I used to be. I used to be a little short-tempered, and if you ask my mom, I'm probably still short-tempered.
You do kind of look like a Viking. So yeah, it may be
the
like
beard.
Yes, yeah.
I think over the years, I kind of found my niche, to where I feel like, for me, the best way for me to navigate things is be super upfront, super honest, and to the point. Because, I mean, I don't feel like sometimes you get anywhere by kind of fluffing things.
Exactly.
And I figure it's easier just, hey, if we have a confrontation or we have a problem, let's just hit it head on, and let's either solve it or figure out a solution and just roll on. So, but it ain't always been the case, so...
I completely understand. I used to kind of run from confrontation, or I would do anything that I could to avoid it. But I quickly learned you can't let that happen, because it will like destroy you psychologically with all the worry, and it's not efficient for business.
Yeah.
So you do have to sometimes just have a direct conversation up front, and when you set expectations with like not only the business side of it, but hey, this is how we're going to conduct each other through this.
Yeah.
Because there are some, like, rude people.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And this is another thing, too, that comes with comfortability over time. As a new agent, I was totally different. When you're not making a ton of money and you're trying to get your feet wet in a business and you're trying to grow your business, you're like, I can't afford to... These clients are so difficult, but I can't afford to be like, you know what? No.
That's right.
But now, I'm a firm believer that I'm not meant to work with everybody.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
It is
okay. That is fine. I mean, you don't... That is perfectly okay. Like, everybody... That's why there's so many of us. Not all of us are perfect for every individual. And we just have to realize that. Whether that's me picking up a phone call and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't clash, but maybe I can find you somebody that's a little bit better for you, and vice versa. But at the beginning, that's a hard thing to swallow. You're like, God, I really need this commission. But now it's hard telling, for like me, it's hard telling some of my agents that they're like, man, what do I do to deal with this? I was like, it's okay to say, hey,
That's right.
We don't click.
That's right, because the strain that drama or tension will take out of you, it's not worth it.
None.
Number one. And you're exactly right. We're not meant to click with everybody, and that is okay.
Yep.
Some people are not going to like each other. That is a fact of life. That doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to like express that dislike.
No, it's just, hey, we agree to disagree.
Right.
And it's okay. Like,
that is exactly
that's the
right.
founding principle. That's one of the one things I loved about this, I love about our country. It's okay to disagree.
Right.
You can still coexist as people and disagree with everybody's opinion and stuff like that. So, and it's fine. Like, we'll be okay. I'll find another client. We'll press on. We'll do an event. I'll still help you as best I can. I'll find you another agent if you want. I mean, or whatever it is. But yeah, it's okay.
It's like and I think people often, they're not really trying to find common ground with people in the places that they should be trying to find common ground with them. Like if I have a potential client, a lot of people, and it's different from the mortgage side because you're seeing their entire financial history, and it's like you've got to have some serious trust to have conversations with people, especially when it's like not an ideal picture of their credit. But when you can find that common ground with them, that like, hey, I'm not here to judge you in any capacity because I promise you I understand just from life experience what you're going. Exactly.
I mean, not everything's perfect.
Right.
And that's okay.
So just trying to consider that other person's feelings or thoughts or what they're going through.
Yeah.
And just stop 2 seconds and be like, hey, I've been there and I know how that feels and it sucks. And having that split second of empathy for what they're going through can sometimes like make a connection happen that will just change everything for that particular person or maybe you.
Yeah, I can't imagine sometimes some of the tough, because you got to think about it. Some people, I can only imagine when they're going to get their loan, and let's say they have a rough credit history, they got a lot of bankruptcy or whatever. Some people are prideful and they're like, man, I don't want to talk about this. This is not me in a nutshell.
Exactly.
But it's also like, we understand it's okay. Like, we understand circumstances come in your life that you can't control.
That's right.
And it's okay to start over. Just like it is a job. Just like, hey, this career ain't for me.
Exactly.
Let me find another one. Same thing with your life chapter. Hey, my life ain't the same. So it's just a pivot.
I really struggle with that too, just like who you are as a person. Because I feel like women especially get really wrapped up in, you got to have this image and people have to think you're this. And that is exhausting. And if you can just be like, this is who I am as a person and this is who I am in business, you don't have to put on any kind of fronts.
Yep.
And it's like a very freeing thing. And I'm not really into the whole, social thing and hanging out all the time. I'm more of a homebody.
You and me both anymore.
But I realize that's okay too.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, that doesn't mean I'm a terrible person. It just means I know where I'm most comfortable, and that's with my people.
Yep.
In pants with a elastic waistband.
100%. For a big old boy like myself, 100%. It's kind of funny. My mother-in-law was trying to talk me and my wife into going out to dinner for my birthday back in July. And she was like, we should really go out. My wife was like, yeah, let's go out to dinner. I'm like, I don't want to go out. I was like, how about we just get dinner and go home? Let me go home. Yes. Let's get it to go and take our butt home. I said, I'd rather eat it on the couch, watching a movie, watching TV or whatever. I was like, I don't want to go out.
Exactly. So if I'm like eating my favorite food near my own bathroom, near my bed, if I like want to take a nap or something, and if I'm watching a show in my home on my TV, I can pause it if I need to.
That's it. 100%.
So Blake is very like he has to have social activity or he gets really down. And it's funny because he'll come home and I'll be like out of words for the day. I'm like, I've talked all day. Blake still has lots of words.
He's a talker.
He is a talker. So sometimes he'll talk on the phone till 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening just catching up with people. And that's okay too. That's how he is. And, sometimes I used to be like, man, why don't I have that why don't I have that ability to connect with every single human being in life? And I realized it's not meant to be that way. Blake is who he is, and I'm who I am.
That's why God created us to be individuals.
Exactly.
He created us to be ourselves, not all one person.
Correct.
If he wanted one person, he created one person. So,
right.
And it's crazy kind of think about that. I talked to my wife about that. Like, my wife stresses a lot, and I try to get her out of that stress. And I was like, "Why are you stressing?" I said, "You're stressed about stuff you can't control."
Right.
I said, "If you go to work and work as hard as you possibly can and prioritize as best you can every day, and something doesn't get done, it's okay." Because
Jim, that just stressed me out so bad, you saying that.
But it's true.
I have the same mindset sometimes.
So think about this though. Yeah. So what's to say? It's not on you to stress. It's on God to stress. God will take care of it. Whatever situation it is, you just lean on Him and He'll take care of that situation.
That was very profound. Very seriously, because just like I was saying a while ago, that all this life experience, when you look back and you see how all of those puzzle pieces fell into place to 100%. Be the picture of where you're at right now. But it's really, because I'm a control freak. Like, sometimes I have a stranglehold on stuff, and I cannot get, like, I'll get so invested in a deal or a game, you know, because I get, like, so competitive about stuff. I'm like, what am I doing here? You know?
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, I mean, it's like, for me, I would have never thought I'd be in this position. Like, when you talk about faith, I mean, I never grew up in church or anything like that. Always had a belief and stuff like that, but never grew up in a church. And, man, I met Amy, and my whole life changed. Started going to church every Sunday. My faith has totally changed. My outlook on stuff has totally changed. And for her, I just try to, you know, be that rock for her. And I'm like, hey, you got to quit stress. And I was like, it ain't for us to stress. I was like, you stressing yourself out does nothing for you. It
doesn't. And it really, like, it can rob you of your joy.
That's it.
And it can make you sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
And, you know, Blake and I both struggle with that, because we're both, like, type A go-getters on certain stuff, because we're just competitive people.
Yeah.
Like, that's why our family cannot play board games. You know, because
this board will go flying.
Oh, it is so bad. But you know, we'll have to remind each other, do you not realize how our lifestyle was 10 years ago? Like, we were covered up with kids and daycare expense, and, you know, he was still, I think Blake was like an E4. So yeah, you look back at those times and think, how did we freaking survive?
I don't even want to talk about daycare. She starts this month at $800 and some a month. I just want to cry. I was like,
it's like another house payment.
And we still provide lunch and breakfast and stuff. I was like, what are we doing? I just want to be like, all right, I'm about to make a playroom at the office, and we're about to just eat this. But I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Like, you don't really want to send your precious sweet baby to a discount daycare facility.
Thanks. That's what my wife tells me.
Okay.
She goes, it's super nice. They're a Christian school. It's in the church. I'm like, I know, but golly.
Yeah.
That's so much money.
It is. But you know, you'll sell whatever to keep that baby in that awesome daycare facility. Because when you find the right one, it doesn't matter the cost. Having that peace of mind that your kids are in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But boy, that's a lot of money.
It really is. I know. We had 2 in daycare full time for almost 2 years, and it was $1,000 for 2 of them. But you just have one that'll be in daycare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the cost has gone up.
I'm counting the days to pre-K. And I know you wish time away, but I'm like, free, go to school.
Well, this might sound really bad, but you know, so me and Blake have kids all over the age spectrum. So like from like 11 to 22.
Yeah.
And then when the older kids were getting up in driving age, I was like, I'm ready to have some extra licensed drivers, because I need help getting all these people to their things. So like when Skylar got her license, it was amazing. I could send her to go get milk.
That would be nice.
Just, you know, pick up your sister from school or whatever. It was awesome.
A little far away from that.
Yeah. Jim's like, she's going to freaking drive? Are you kidding me?
Nah, I mean, Mason, heck, he'll be 9 next month. That's crazy to think
That
about.
is crazy.
It's hard to
Is
believe.
he still playing football?
Nah, not right now. He's, man, he got into this gifted and talented program in his school. Like, it's crazy. Like, so he took a test, and a lot of stuff goes over my head when it comes to because school has totally changed.
I know, it really has.
Like,
it seriously has.
Like, it stresses me. Like, I wouldn't say stresses me out, but I'm just like, they're learning what in this. Like, I didn't learn that until like the end of middle school and
well, it
all this
stresses
other
me
stuff.
out just because like, I'm trying to figure out what is that.
Yeah.
And then you have to log into all of these websites to see your kids'
Schoology
grades and attendance and but gifted and talented is a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, we're proud for sure, and
That is
like I
a
said,
great
I lean on
thing.
Amy a lot because she's obviously the educator.
She's an educator, and you know my dad was a teacher for 30 years. He taught history and geography, so I saw like firsthand what teachers are doing at home after school, and it's a lot of work.
Like right now, like they still need 2 teachers, and school starts next week. Like, it's bad. Like last weekend their school district said, hey, we got more students and you're going to open up a kindergarten classroom. So now they have to hire a teacher for that. They're already missing another grade level teacher that they haven't been able to find. Not a lot of people want to be teachers right now. She's been working probably to 6 to 8 o'clock every night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, it's literally, I grab baby, I go home, we get them ready, both kids get them done, and she gets home late, long enough to get ready for bed and start over again, and God bless her for that. I just don't know how I would do that.
It has to definitely be a calling, because if it's not, like, that is not something I would ever be cut out to do.
No, I don't have the patience for it.
No. So it's just like healthcare. If you can be a nurse, a doctor,
God bless you.
That's right, because I will run away from everything affiliated with bodily functions.
I don't think that would mind me too much. It's just the fact of, man, it's just so demanding. Like, I talked to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was an RN at UAMS for like 35 years.
But she's got some great stories.
And she worked oncology, so she was a cancer nurse. So, I mean, just like, and the amount of stuff she knows. Like, well, Amy's like, well, what do you think about it? I said, why don't you call your mom? She was the nurse. I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Exactly.
So like, every time we get like a bump or a bruise or, hey, I think I'm going to the doctor. Mom, what's going on? Before we even get there. But
my mom's an RN, and she's basically like our resident doctor. Like, she's basically a brain surgeon. She can do everything. She's like, I don't really know about that. You're probably going to have to go see a doctor.
But they're so smart. It's crazy.
I know.
But hey, people are gifted in their own way of what they do, and it's just it's astonishing sometimes to see like people getting their own element and their gift, and it's wild to see them off and running.
It is, and even seeing people that are like, I know this is crazy, but I was watching this guy on TV weld, and that is like an art form.
That's hard.
It is.
I took welding in high school, and I'm just like, the first weld I ever did, I put a hole in it. I was like, well, that's not going to work.
It would be such a handy skill to have, though.
I ended up learning it, though. By the end of the class,
Good job.
I was actually welding. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could weld now. I could probably do it.
You probably could.
I probably could.
Do you have to, like, have that shield so you don't get blinded?
Yeah, because if you don't, you'll get, man, what is it called? Arc? It's like arc in your eyes, and like, it's terrible. It's the most painful thing. Like,
so it actually hurts.
Oh, it hurts, and it hurts like for a while afterwards. They say that you cut a piece of potato and you put the potato over your eye, and that's supposed to help.
And it'll like pull out the little.
I guess I don't know.
Well, how can you keep your eyelid open? I mean, that would.
So once that shield's down, obviously the shield is so dark.
Yeah.
But once you arc it, you can see. So once that thing is arc and lit up, you're able to...
So you're not just doing it blindly.
You're not doing it blindly. But but the thing is, for them, you gotta have that feel to get it started. Once you get it started, because if you don't know where you're starting at, you could start somewhere and be wrong, and you don't notice it until it's already lit and you already started.
You've either started like a huge fire or maimed yourself. Yeah.
Good, for sure.
there's a lot of things that I'll think, wow, I could do this myself. So the other day, I was like, hey, Blake, do you think I could handle this chainsaw? He's like, no.
But you're pretty nifty, though. Don't you do, like, furniture and all like that
I
stuff?
used to build some stuff. I mean, I still tinker around with it. But, yes, I just... I got tired of seeing what furniture was selling for. Like, the real stuff, you know, solid wood tables.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I can make that. And, you know, that's the thing. YouTube, you can figure a lot of stuff out.
I'm going to tell people I'm very mechanically inclined, but I am no carpenter.
See, that's what Blake says too, but it's the same concept.
Man, I remember I took a wood shop, another thing. I took a wood shop and I made this little, like, end table. My mother still has it to this day. I have no idea why. I messed that thing up. It rocks back and forth because the legs ain't, but she won't get rid of it. I'm like, Mom, if you don't just throw that, I said, if you don't just throw that thing away, just throw that thing away. It was a cheap shop project.
Yeah.
But
well, I love. I mean, building stuff is a lot of fun. If you get a Kreg jig, that's like a game changer. Because then you can drill pocket holes, and you're basically a professional. Dang. When you can drill like those invisible pocket holes and then put something together, because that's when I really took my game up, and it's really easy. But then Blake was like, "You did that by yourself?" I'm like, "Sure did." But it's just like
I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in your face, muscles. Now, the table saw, I do still have to have some help with that because that freaks me out a lot.
Afraid of losing a finger?
Yes.
Yeah. Because if it catches, a lot of people, they think they can catch it. Like, just let it go. Let it shoot at that point. Just get out of the way.
Like,
get out of the way and turn it off.
You have these visions in your head and just, Well, and Blake worked for the railroad for a while, and he almost cut his finger off.
I remember that.
And with a grinder. So I remember seeing the carnage of the aftermath of that. So I've always been real cautious about blades.
He needs a bubble.
He is so accident prone. So, you know, Saturday night I had to take him to the ER because he went into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, they told me.
Yes.
And I made fun of him yesterday because he was being a big baby about the needle.
Yeah.
I said, hold on, Blake. I said, out of all the years we were in the military, and he said, shots are different.
He has like a sleeve on one arm.
Yeah, I was like, how are you afraid of needles?
That he just got completed. And that's, a tattoo needle is repeatedly over and over.
This is one stick to put in an IV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was bad. It really was. I'm sorry, Blake, but it was. So
he's gonna listen to this and be like, I hate you guys.
Yes. Well, Jim, thank you very much for talking to me today. This has been a lot of fun, and I think people are gonna enjoy getting to know you. And thanks everybody for listening.